Welcome to ArtSpot Online, the Tampa Museum of Art's art-making activity series for children and families. Together we'll learn about a current exhibition at the Tampa Museum of Art and get inspired to create a new work of art. Today's ArtSpot activity is sponsored by Hillsborough County, Tico Energy, and Wells Fargo. Would you say this picture looks real? At first, we see a very lifelike image of a person who you might actually recognize. This is Jorge, a singer and actor based in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. But when we get closer, we realize we're actually looking at circles of paper that have been cut out with a hole punch and arranged in patterns of light and dark to create an image of Jorge that seems really close to how we would see him in real life. When we get closer still, we realize that we're not looking at thousands of actual paper circles, but a photograph of that collage made from photographs and pages of text cut out with a hole punch. So in a lot of ways, this print is very real and very unreal at the same time. You know, from a distance, you see a naturalistic illusion of an appearance of a person, but when you get closer, you can also see all the individual circular building blocks that make it up. So Vik Muniz, who's the artist behind Jorge here, has made many works of art like this, where he starts with a photograph or a famous work of art, and he recreates it in unexpected ways, using materials as diverse as stamps that you would find in a print shop, chocolate sauce, spaghetti, things as large as an entire warehouse filled with trash, and things as small as cells in a petri dish. So today we're gonna start with our own photograph and use some everyday household materials to make some creative self-portraits with Vik Muniz in mind. So you'll just need some tracing paper or some clear plastic paper holders or some Mylar, if you have some Mylar lying around from some overhead projectors from the 90s. And then really just whatever you've got will work on one of those two surfaces. So I'm gonna try a couple different self-portraits with Sharpies, markers, paint, and a stamp pad. And obviously you'll wanna find a portrait photograph of yourself or a friend or someone you admire. Just make sure that your face takes up about 75% of the picture. And if you're used to editing digital photos on your phone or tablet or computer, if you convert your photograph to black and white before printing it out, or if you just print it out in black and white, this will help you more easily see how light and how dark the shadows and details on your face are, it's a little bit trickier to do that in color. So I'm gonna start with black acrylic paint and the clear paper holders. You can use a brush, but I'm just gonna use my finger to make it even more liquidy and to kind of force me to not do tiny details, because that's the thing about photographs, right? Is they automatically pick up tons and tons of details, right? So I'm just gonna use my finger, and as I go along, I'm gonna start doodling in the dark areas first. So the main thing to remember when you start doing this, regardless of what materials you're using, you want to try to force yourself to avoid outlines. Instead of outlining all of the features on your face, squint your eyes and try to see all of the different abstract shapes that are making up your face, right? Don't draw a perfect cartoon eye where your eye is. Don't draw a perfect cartoon nose where your nose is. Forget you're drawing a nose, forget you're drawing eyes. Just try to identify the blackest, the darkest shapes right now, and then just kind of squiggle those in. So after you've done all of the darkest areas, your darkest values, you then want to move to the next darkest areas, right? So I'm gonna wipe my finger off a little bit so that when I smear paint around, it's not gonna be as solid, right? It's gonna be a lighter gray. And then for the lightest areas, I'm just gonna leave those clear. I'm gonna leave those blank, because when you're done, you can put in a piece of white paper, and then ba-bam, you have something that's really abstract, but also it's, a recognizable person with these believable proportions. So you can also experiment with putting different papers behind it too, right? That'll change the overall portrait a lot. So let's do one now with markers on tracing paper. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm avoiding outlines. I'm just gonna try and scribble in shapes, right? And something that's helpful here is breaking it down into 4 values. It's really dark, kind of light, and white are your lightest values. So pick 4 markers and then that have those same values, and then just go one at a time. Bounce around, get all of the really dark values, get your next marker, bounce around, get all the kind of dark values, next marker, get all the kind of light values. Oh wait, I guess you only need 3 markers, right? Just leave the page blank for your lightest lights, your lightest values. You can do them with Sharpies on the plastic too. You can do them with fingerprints on tracing paper. If you have a hole punch, you can try to make one just like the George print we looked at. And I gotta say, this might seem like just tracing if you're just watching the video at home, but if you do sit down and attempt to actually do this, you'll realize really quickly that there are a lot of different decisions that you're gonna be making along the way. And each different material will pose different challenges, but you'll also notice what each material is really good at. So really feel what the materials want to do and go with that flow. All right, that's Art Spot Online for today, for this month. Thank you for making art with the Tampa Museum of Art today. If you enjoyed today's activity, please click the thumbs up button to like our video. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so that you don't miss future episodes. The artwork we learned about today, George, is from Figure Forward, selections from the permanent collection. And that's on view now through May 9th at the Tampa Museum of Art. Check out the video description for links to more information about the exhibition, and plan your visit to the Tampa Museum of Art with your family for a fun day of art by visiting our website, tampamuseum.org. And we'll see you next time.